Hey guys, welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm your host Voodoo, and today we're talking about a topic that nearly everyone in the game has to deal with at some point in time. It never goes away, and that is campaign farming. What is campaign farming? Campaign farming and farming food is something that we refer to in this game as feeding champs. And what we mean by that is this particular game, you gain power and champions by raising their rank and level. And the way you do that is by feeding lower tier champions into the higher champion to continue leveling their level. The best way to do that is by creating what's called a campaign farmer. A campaign farmer enables you to run through certain levels of the campaign and power level, so to speak. It's an MMO term. Power level other champions very quickly to the appropriate level needed to go ahead and feed them to your champion of choice to increase their level in the game. So a campaign farmer is something you need on day one, and it's something you are going to use until you quit the game. And because it's such a high priority need, having an effective and fast campaign farmer becomes really critical to your progress and advancement in the game. So when we think about campaign farmers, if you look at the list that I've got here, these are a lot of the campaign farmers that you typically hear about. There's a lot of content out there on the social media channels about campaign farmers. But my mystery champ seems to get dropped off the list quite frequently. And matter of fact, I don't think I've heard many people mention this particular champ as a campaign farmer. So today we're showcasing him. But looking at what is typical, Kayle, Felhound, and Bellower all tend to be pretty good and easily accessible rares that people start with typically in the game early. And some people even use them toward the end. You can build out a Bellower and a Felhound that really can get you some pretty fast campaign times. It is heavily gear dependent, but again, they are champs that can do the job. Moving into your epics, you've got Miscreated Monster, Senecia, Skullcrown, all great. Fast is a relative term, so we're going to define what I would consider fast and in-game elite farming here in a second. But I know I use Skullcrown for most of my... I got her early in the game, I was lucky. I used her for my early game, mid game, and even my beginning end game campaign farmer. I used Skullcrown, and she was putting up 6-second campaign farm times, which is ridiculous as a campaign farmer. So she carried me for a long time. You've got some legendaries like Big Gun Ray, Queen Ava. They also can, geared out properly, they can really do dish out some damage as well. But today we're going to talk about real end-game campaign farming. And so let's talk about what fast is fast. So when I talk about fast, I'm talking about the cream of the crop. I'm talking about having the right gear, the right champ, the right masteries, even the right graphic settings on your computer. And believe it or not, I've even found it matters when you're farming food, who you have in tow. If you have a champion that you're trying to raise for food, if his animations are slow, believe it or not, your champion that you're using as a campaign farmer has to wait until that person gets in frame. So when we're talking about slicing and dicing and getting down to the nitty-gritty detail, that's what I'm talking about when we're trying to determine what's fast. So ideally under 30 seconds or so is kind of where you're getting into your entry game campaign farming. It's usually a big milestone when you can do that. Getting into your mid game, you're probably looking at 10 to 15 seconds, definitely under 20 seconds. And then I would say your end game farming is definitely under 10 seconds, usually somewhere in that 6 to 8 time frame. Skullcrown's a great example of someone who can do that. Obviously gear dependent, having a high crit rate, high crit damage. These are compositions where you don't need defense, you don't need lifesteal. You're not getting hit, period. You go through all 3 rounds and you don't take a hit. It's just wham bam, done, move on to the next one. So when you're talking about sub 10 second campaign times, you're not getting hit. So defense is not a factor. At this point, it's the greatest defense is a good offense. And so you come in, you new card, you got your 100% crit rate and as much crit damage as you possibly can. And that's the strategy I'm using here for my campaign farmer. So the man of choice, the guy that is the untold legend, is of course Mythos. He has been what I found to be the absolute fastest farmer in the game. Believe it or not, he has given me 5-second campaign 12-3 run times. I've not seen it before. I've seen a couple of 6-second champions out there, but 5 seconds. And a couple of things need to go right with him. Obviously, he needs to crit. My crit rate here is pretty darn close. I've managed to get him up to just about 90%. So I might get that 1 in 10 where he doesn't crit. It's not a big deal. I could probably finagle some gear around and work on getting 100% crit, but honestly, I'm too lazy. I don't do a lot of farming in the game anymore since I have so many legendaries that are already at 60, but I still wanted to showcase what this guy could do. He also has a really fast animation and a killer AoE. What I have found, though, and I'm going to also showcase it in this video, is there are some definite bugs and inconsistencies in this game. I can take this champion and do multiple runs, and he will actually pick different skill sets to use on different rounds, and there are no changes. So it kind of shows how some of the testing in this, Raid Shadow Legends developed by Plarium kind of is crap. They've got some work to do on this, but that being said, let's go ahead and look at a quick run. I just wanted to do a quick showcase on him today. He's my guy. He's my go-to. I've cleared, you can tell, I've cleared everything on all the way to Nightmare, but Brutal still tends to be the go-to place for experience and gold. So we're going to go ahead and run him real quick and just showcase what he can do. Hopefully we don't get the bug in the first run and make a fool out of me, but let's just see. We'll go ahead and start, and you'll see how this guy does his stuff. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. 5-second runtime. And he is what I call the absolute fastest in the game. Now I'd like to show you another replay and see if he'll do it. See if we can get the game to actually use different AI. Nope. Same exact run. Let's do it again. Boom. Boom. Same champs every time. All 5-second runs. It's pretty crazy. So what we'll do this time, let's put in some food. Let's take a Seeker. We'll do it again. You can tell Seeker's a little bit slower. He's lagging behind. And what I have found, there you go. Just by adding in slow food, he no longer uses that AoE to nuke. And depending on what champion you actually pair with him and how fast the animations are, that's driving some of the AI. I don't know if that's how the game is meant to be. I have narrowed it down to it being the animation, not the skill sets that come with a particular food champion. But again, nothing can beat a 12-5 champion. You can go from, an epic 1 to 40 in literally like 2 minutes or less, or 60 seconds or less. I haven't timed it in a while, but it's super fast. But this just shows your 12-5 farming. Definitely wanted to showcase the guy. Just a quick look at my build out. For those of you that are curious about what he's got on him, looking again, I have him in all speed gear, ridiculous attack. His attack is upwards of 50, 200 plus, almost 100% crit rate, decent crit damage. That's by no means off the charts. That's just solid. And then he's got accuracy, of course. But all in all, he's not godlike the way he's geared. His attack is super high, but you've got a lot of room to play. I'm pretty sure you could reduce that attack and maxed out that damage a little bit more, and you can kind of play with it. This is just kind of how I have him set up right now. But by all means, he gets it done. Attack tree. Could probably even tune him some more by looking at some of these other things, because I've used him for some other areas of the game. So I wouldn't exactly say these masteries are on point. But again, that just goes to show and illustrate how this guy truly is the god when it comes to farming 12-3 campaign. You guys should definitely check him out. If you've got something that's faster or comparable, love to see you put your comments down in the video below. Always love to hear what other people are using, and tell me what you got. Talk to you later. This is Voodoo. I'm out.